But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Tell you what, I was getting out, leaving holiday, sir. American Red Devils are back. At least one of us in the bunker. Back in California. Back from New Jersey. I was watching that opening 5 minutes. We were down 2 goals to lowly Nottingham Forest, and I was just turned the goddamn thing off. There is no rescue coming. Little did I know by the time I got through lovely Newark security, United had fought back. And what a way to fight back. Manchester United need to figure things out on a consistent basis over 90 minutes. But that being said, we did go down. 2 of the shittiest goals I've ever seen. I was thinking about the right analogy, sir. The right analogy is like you start a FIFA game against the computer back in the day when there was FIFA. And then, you thought you paused it when you go to the bathroom. And then they just started playing. And, the goals we conceded, the first and second goals, was like you were playing against the computer and nobody was behind the joystick. But either way, Manchester United had a shit 5 minutes and a great later 85 minutes because I thought we put together some really good football. Once again, calling out the need for a number 9. Probably could have scored 5 goals. Obviously, it's Forest, but I'll take it. I'll take the 3 points. It's a big win, but there's a lot of concerning things happening around Manchester United, especially around our inability to show up for a match at home against a shit Forest team. That is concerning, considering how the first 2 matches of the season went. But that's a long preamble. How we doing? How you feeling?
Sir, doing good. Coming to you remote. Vacation wasn't enough. I ended up getting COVID, the whole family, in Southern California, but I'm back. So we'll be doing remote pods for a little bit here. I was watching the game in the car on the phone, streaming it, and I couldn't believe my eyes the first 5 minutes. Look, the huge red flags. I mean, just the way the goals were conceded, 2 set pieces, the way Rashford's the last man back on the corner. Again, we struggled with this in seasons prior. Also, man marking on the other set piece they scored from. So just overall, just sloppy, real sloppy, not switched on behavior we have seen in the past. That being said, when the chips are down and the going gets tough, this team had a huge reaction. Eriksson, bit of class. He came in with a big goal. Rashford taking his man to the touchline. Love to see that. Look, you need a little bit of luck. This is some shithousery in the EPL. I thought it was a generous red. I thought the penalty was spot on. Marcus deserved that one. And we go ahead 3 points. And when you're starting out of the blocks and you're stumbling, rumbling, bumbling right now, we are not playing good football. It is not we are showing up and getting clapped into the face every match. Go through them. It's just been brutal to watch. The tactics have been off. The players have been off. The fitness has been off. It has been sloppy. And United need to get to international break with as many points as possible. And I think it's fair that this was 3 that is huge for us right now. And when you're winning and you're not playing well, that's a good thing. We just got to be able to use the time over international break to clean this situation up because the injuries are piling up. And this rough start against a poor side at home, look, it's concerning. It's really concerning over the long term. I think we will sort it out. We have to sort it out, but great to see some fight from the lads, especially the captain, Bruno Fernandes. So you got to be happy about the 3 points, but obviously generally concerned about watching this type of football over the rest of the season.
I have to agree with you, right? We always talk about how preseason really does not matter, and there's no better illustration of that than this last preseason. It wasn't like some of these past preseasons where we never lost a game, never conceded a goal. Traveled an absurd amount, played too many games, just such a money grab. And United, I had to say yesterday, talk about the comeback, talk about the first 5 minutes, which I agree, super concerning. The defensive, we conceded from our own corner. We had a corner attacking their defense, and we conceded, like you said. Rashford doesn't put that tackle in, but why is he last man back? And then the goal that came a couple minutes later, it was like nobody was defending. We were all just kind of flat-footed. But the real concern is by the end of it, we look fucking gassed. And I know it was a long game. It was 13 minutes of extra time in the second half. And we did actually up the tempo when we started playing some really good football, which we did at times. But we had a huge preseason, tons of matches, and the lack of fitness is concerning. But at this point, I think, like you said, we just got to play ourselves into form. We got to play ourselves into fitness. They're not getting any help from the front office, right? We can't sell anybody. All the dead wood. It is now like 5 days from the window closing. None of it has been shipped, and if it has, it's in shit deals, right? Loaning Brandon Williams instead of selling them. Hendo's finally off, but even then, you're probably leaving $10 million on the table. So it's just Eric Ten Hag's not getting any help, from his front office, but at the end of the day, he's got to clean up the pitch, and he's got to clean up what's happening with the tactics, and more importantly, what's happening when they show up for a game. Because goddamn, we didn't show up in that second half against Spurs, but we didn't show up in the first half at home against Nottingham Forest, and you know what? It could have been ugly today, because all of a sudden you lose like that. If you lose 2-0, 3-1, like if we didn't pick it up and find some goals and find some talent in that match, like it could have started getting real ugly at Manchester United, especially with a tough game away at Arsenal this upcoming weekend. So there's a lot of things to figure out, and I'm rooting for my boy Eric Ten Hag to figure it out. But Jesus, it's never easy at Manchester United, is it, sir?
Look, you start that badly, switched off at home against a poor side after losing to Tottenham 2-0. Like, it should just be a guns out from the gates, dominating Nottingham Forest, making a statement, correcting the slide. And maybe the comeback is the correction for the slide, but it's concerning when you see that. That's leadership. That's coaching. I mean, it really comes down to that fact that when you look at the first 3 games of this season, we were not well prepared for these 3 opponents. We had a long time to do so. And we got to get to international break. We got to get some bodies in, and we have to reassess. And we cannot get embarrassed against Arsenal. And what kills me the most is that we walked into the Emirates last season looking like and feeling like we were going to take them to the sword. And now we're trying to just not get embarrassed. And that is a red flag looking last year to this year. We should be standing on the shoulders of last season, and to be on the back foot already, thinking about what could potentially happen. We saw the big losses last season. We're talking about Wolves. We're talking about Tottenham without Harry Kane, and we're talking about Nottingham Forest. We're all over the place. Like Bambi on ice. The Gunners are going to be smelling blood in the water, and we have to show up and not get absolutely just battered. Because that could very well happen given the opponents and how we played to start the season.
More so how we played and how well Arsenal can play. Now, they haven't started as well as they started last year. But then again, like if we show up and play a shit game of football, they will take advantage of us. They'll score, and that will be exactly what they want to turn their season around headed into the international break. So we need to figure it out and figure it out quick. We have injuries piling up left, right, and center. Like I said, this is going to be a poor transfer window at the end of the day, just given the lack of movement with the dead wood and the replacements that never came, right? Like, we ain't getting no Benjamin Pavard. He's going to fucking Inter because nobody wants to buy Harry Magoo when he's on $15 million or $12 million a year, whatever his crazy salary is. So either way, injuries piling up, Mount's out, Shaw's out for looks like a long time. Yeah, Malacia has still been out, since preseason. They're dipping back in for the left back. That's insane. Just because, there's so many other priorities. We need another number 9. You see Martial yesterday? He was the worst player on the pitch. He was embarrassingly bad because by the time United actually started playing football, which they did by the 10th minute, and they played some really good football, he looked like the worst. He looks like he's trying not to get hurt. And it looks he looks like a fat, old Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, in a testimonial match. It's almost sad to see how bad Martial looked yesterday. We're putting so many balls in the box, and he's always on his back heel. And when I'm not trying to bash Martial for the sake of bashing Martial, what I'm getting at is we have 0 competent strikers right now because Højlund's never scored a goal in the EPL. Sure, Martial scored goals. I can't believe yesterday was a 300th appearance for Manchester United. But he ain't the guy, and he will go as soon as his fucking contract ends at the end of next year. But I cannot believe that we're not talking about other strikers, sir. But either way, so a lot of EPL games left, just 3 down. 35 to go, bro.
Well, there is someone to blame. It is the Glazers.
They ain't leaving.
A shout out to all the fans at the sit-in. #Glazers out as always. But, sir, quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the Muppet Take and you're going to be listening to this podcast throughout the rest of the season, despite these 3 games so far, support the American Red Devils. We'll be here the entire way, breaking it all down. The best way for you to do so and keep the podcast ad-free is via Patreon. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Tons of benefits. Like I said, if you want to be the creme de la creme of the American Red Devils community, please check it out. Also, check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com, and our AmericanRedDevils.store for all your American Red Devils merchandise. Please check it out. Support the podcast. Keep the lights on. Sir, another great way to support the pod that's completely free, iTunes reviews. Tell them about it.
iTunes reviews, that's right, John. Writing 5-star reviews, the American Devils, wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically. And even better, we're giving away free scarves, free American Red Devil design scarves, and we'll send them anywhere in the world. All you have to do is write a 5-star review and send a screenshot of that review with your mailing address to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com. And I will personally pick, pack, and ship a free ARD scarf, send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great one from P. Freddy5. Interesting American views on United as a born and bred Manc now living in Tampa. It's interesting to hear the guys' views on all things United. Seem clued up on the sale, no sale process, and like the way they refer to Liverpool as Scouse bastards. Still struggle with the Americanisms such as calling Wan-Bissaka AWB. The boys are passionate, real United fans, and thoroughly enjoy listening to them on my sweaty morning dog walks in Florida. I occasionally miss my Manchester rainy summers. Thank you for the great review. I empathize with those sweaty Florida summers. My brother, who I saw last week, he lives in Southern Florida. He complained about that heat. And I tell you what, I'm in the bunker. I'm complaining about the heat. John's remote. I can tell he's wearing a hoodie. He ain't sweating. He's got the AC on. Your hair might as well be flickering in the wind, my man, because it's a tale of two cities. I am sweating. It is hot in Northern California. It's a little smoky as well. And speaking of smoke, let's get into that match.
All right, let's get into that 11 for Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United. We had Onana in net, Delo, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka backline, Eriksson, Casemiro, Bruno midfield, Rashford on the left, Martial up top, and Antony, world-class bluffer on the right. How are we doing, sir, with that 11?
How many times do you say bluffer as it relates to our boy Antony from Brazil?
4 goals.
Okay, he had a decent game yesterday.
80 million.
He played better yesterday. He still ain't worth 80.
Hey, the bar is very low.
Very low.
With a very low bar, he played well.
Played a lot better than Martial. Put it that way. That 11 picks itself at the end of the day, right? That midfield. Mount was the guy to replace Eriksson, but I'll tell you what, the best Manchester United midfielders look this season, after the first 5 minutes, was with this midfield. They're comfortable with each other. I thought Eriksson played great. I thought Casemiro grew into the game, and I thought Bruno was fantastic. One of his best games I've seen from him in a long time. Okay. John, never satisfied. Tell me how bad and how shitty this United team is, and how dissatisfied you were with that. What's the shocker in this 11? Who else are you going to play?
I like you. Keep picking them up. Keep picking them up. Nottingham Forest.
Someone's got to do it, bro. Someone's got to do it, bro.
Well, these guys, heavy hitters.
Negative Nancy's. I got no room for in the pod room. You got AC. I'm fucking sweating. So tell me about it, how disappointed you were with this 11.
This 11 is like red flag city. We're already on so many injuries. This is so concerning. I know it's like you can't sell Magoo. I'm like, this is one of those things where how are we already here? This is usually like game week 18 where you're like suffering through injuries. Like we are already here, and Delo at left back. Why not give the kid a chance? I felt like Fernandez should get a shout here. I didn't like that one from the manager. I think you got to go like for like. Like, this is Manchester United. 2 people go down ahead of him. Give the kid a chance. He featured well in preseason. I would have liked that. But again, he prefers to be playing people out of position. That's just what the manager likes to do. Martial gets the nod at 9. For some reason, I felt like Sancho deserved a shout here. And then Antony, just sticking with his guy, did have a good game. But again, I just feel there's a little stubbornness with the manager and Antony when you could just need some fresh blood in the attack. But you're right. Coming out, it was an awful match. Like, just play the goals. We'll see you on the other side.
All right, second minute. Here we go.
Marcus Rashford on defensive duty here, and Awoniyi is in. And from a Manchester United corner, Nottingham Forest gallop away, and Rashford manages to get a toe to the ball, and in it goes. From the
Like I said, I haven't seen a goal like that since I used to play FIFA a lot, which I don't play anymore because they kind of ruined FIFA. But, I mean, you concede from your own corner, and the last man back is Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford should do better, but that was kind of endemic of how everybody opened in that game, which was just like sleepwalking, bro. We just looked like it didn't even look like a preseason testimonial match, and to concede a goal like that, and then Onana, who played well the rest of the game. I don't even know what that was, bro. He got like stutter stepped and just like fell on his ass, which didn't make.
There was another one too. There was another one with Onana where he didn't come out. He was a little cagey.
At the beginning of the first half, he gave them their best chance. He gave them their best chance at the beginning of the second half when he didn't come out for a ball, and all of a sudden Delo had to put a big block in. He looked a little shaky too. He looked a little unconfident at times.
This is all you have to look at the details between these two goals and look. People are saying, "Oh, we played amazing." It's like Force got 2 goals and packed it in and gave us the ball. I mean, like, let's be honest, how tactically this game like switched on a dime. Like, our game plan was literally like, don't show up, don't play football, can't figure out set pieces, can't be locked on, ready to go from like the start. You concede a horrible goal. What do? Concede another? Let's listen to it.
4th minute.
Plenty gathering in the middle to try and benefit from this, and they've got another! Remarkable! Less than 4 minutes in.
They lost because they celebrated like they won the league, sir. That defending is some of the worst defending I've ever seen as a Manchester United fan. Dude, nobody even jumps for the ball. It's like, maybe it was man marking, but I don't even know what was happening in this first half, And you could say, oh, they packed it in. Like, we did play a better football, but you can't do that. You can't give up 2 easy goals. We did play better football, so you want to act like...
Dude, they played 5. He went 5 at the back after they went up 2.
He played 2 inverted fullbacks, and we, pushed everybody forward, and they never had the ball.
They literally... It's okay, so the way the game works is that as soon as these 2 goals go in, the tactics... Did our tactics change after the second goal went in?
We played totally different. We played totally different. I mean, they happened so quickly.
We basically did everything.
We didn't even get a chance to go forward.
The whole point is, like, after these 2 goals after you can see 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, the whole game changes where Force is going to try to go super defensive, and then that's going to lead to us going super offensive. And so, like, the game plan's out the window, right? And once again, if you looked at Wolves, game plan was out the window in the first 15 minutes. Tottenham, the game plan probably went out the window in the 30th minute. This one, the game plan went out the window in the 5th minute. That's not a good thing. United should have a game plan, have our tactics work, and then impose that on our opponents. Like, that's not happening. 3 matches in a row. You have to talk about how the game completely changes with these 2 goals. And we got more of the ball. We end up scoring here. Like, this is the positive is, like, you go down in this situation, and then do we have the fight? And the answer is, we didn't have the fight against Tottenham, but here we did. And this is an amazing goal, amazing move from Marcus Rashford. And what a finish from Eriksen here in the 17th.
Good to see Christian Eriksen. 17th minute. Here we go.
Hernandez, never shy to shoot. Just squirmed away from Turner. Rashford looks to keep the heat on Nottingham Forest here, and in it goes! The much-needed Manchester United response, led by Christian Eriksen. We've seen Bruno Fernandes have a few shots from long range. This one, it's a goal.
I mean, this is what you love to see. Mainly, you talk about playing players in a position. Who looked great on the left was Marcus Rashford, just cutting in, right? We scored the penalty because of his same cut in from the left side. A lot of the best attacking things that we had going from the left was just Marcus taking boys on, and it worked today. So good ball in. Eriksen showing his class with a nice back heel, and United are back in this match. With everything to play for, and they had the bit between their teeth because, sure, Forest were packing it in, but they couldn't get a sniff of the ball until the very end of the first half.
Yeah, and this is Christian Eriksen, our United entertained. He comes in, scores a big goal for United, not an easy finish. Great player, was great for us last season. Mount goes down with injury. He comes in, gets this goal. Got to give him a huge shout out. 20th minute, Casemiro, long shot. We were testing Turner, the American keeper. You love to see him in the EPL. obviously excelling because we can use our hands at the goalkeeper position. But he looked a little shaky there.
He did look a little shaky today.
26th minute, Casemiro misses an open sitter 3 yards out. We got to go to heading school here because that's like probably 3 goals we've missed already in 3 games with these just errant headers. And then Forest, when the game changes like this and we're everything in the kitchen sink going on the other way, Forest had chances. They should have done better. They had better quality. 48th minute, amazing chance for Forest on the break. Our defense looked like we were in shambles. And that makes sense because we're going for broke, trying to win at this point in the game. Second half, United come out much better on the ball. Sub Lindelof is on for Varane. He had a little knock. The manager basically said he had a little bit of a complaint, didn't want to risk it. We don't know if it's bad. We have to wait. So given the injury situation at United, we're at catastrophic level of injuries. Losing Varane would be a tough one. Not a surprise, though. Varane injury prone, unfortunately. But we look like a way better team with him on the pitch.
Yep.
48th minute, Onana doesn't come out when he should have. This one was weird. He's the sweeper keeper. Got to deal with this one. Not his best game. He didn't look like the big man we've seen at the start of the season here for Onana. But Delo did make a great challenge to recover.
No, 100%. I think he showed it a little bit when United got the lead, and then he was really kind of leaning in as we were defending set pieces. But this one made no sense to me because he had plenty of time to claim the ball. It was well in the penalty box, and just by not going out, it gave them a really good chance. But Delo did cover well. I thought he had a pretty good game covering in left back. But either way, just a little strange one. I think I don't know what's going on. But we need to bring the psychologist into Manchester United and figure things out quick.
49th minute, great chance for Bruno. Anthony puts the ball in with his right foot, but he scuffs it wide. But we would get our goal. 52nd minute from a set piece.
52nd minute, Casemiro.
Fernandes catching pretty much everybody out. In from Rashford. Fernandes is there. It's Casemiro. Nottingham Forest 2-goal head start is wiped out.
I absolutely love that chubby-cheeked bastard, sir. You know what? He just all cheeks, all abs, unbelievable player. I thought Casemiro really grew into this match. Could have had a hat trick, right? He had the other one that tap in. He had another really good chance later in this game. And as bad as we were at set pieces in the first half, we were much better in the second half. We were actually changing things up, doing some trickery. This one was some trickery. Great ball from Marcus Rashford to find Bruno. Bruno plays it in well. And then Casemiro shows that world-class ability he has. That slight touch, buries in the net, game on.
Amazing goal, Casemiro. I think he's a big leader on this team, and like I said, when he's playing well, we're playing well. 61st minute sub, Sancho comes on for the willful Martial, looked out of shape. Didn't look at his best, unfortunately, for Martial. I mean, huge opportunity for him to come in and cement his starting position at the number 9, but didn't look up for it. Sancho came in, didn't look too great either. 67th minute, this is the big red card decision, sir. I think you have the audio queued up. This is the red, straight red.
I do not have the audio, sir. I apologize. It should be unbolded. But I can pull it up, or we can just talk about it. Last man.
Pull it up. Pull it up. Let's hear it. Let's hear the call here.
All right, give me a sec. It's a long call.
Moment of madness.
Field running
this one
of the
I thought was
midfielders
a little
in Manchester
generous to
United. Just see Fernandes there.
I think they're calling it more.
And it's a superb
you
ball.
just saw it today in the
First
Scouts
time
Bastards
Casemiro
game.
picking
Van
him out
Dijk got
tomorrow,
their straight
ball
red.
ends up.
And
he could do nothing but
it's questionable whether he was the last man.
Audio is playing while you're talking, but 100%, sir. They called the exact same red card today with Van Dijk in their game against Newcastle. I mean, he was going to get to that ball. Whether it's a red card, there's another defender right there. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
It was
I'll take it.
50-50.
I mean, it was right on the edge of the box. I don't know. This is not called a red card last year. This is called a yellow card. Now it's a red card, and we obviously confirmed that with the Van Dijk call. But I don't think you can feel hard done. It's like the edge of the penalty box, and he wipes the guy out. So those probably should be red cards, to be honest, right?
So refs, like, it just goes to, like, you watch the game and then they're calling it a certain way, and then clearly now they're calling this like to see it twice. I can't remember the last time I've seen this,
Oh,
and
like
to
a
see it
decade,
twice in
right?
2 days. I mean, like, it has to be like egregious. It has to be egregious for them to call it. Now they seem like a little more. You go to VAR and you watch the replay, it's a 50-50. And so it's like VAR isn't going to overturn, right? So it's not clear and obvious error. So if the referee calls it on the pitch, the call stands. I think that is the correct call. I'm just saying, usually it's not called unless it's like 100% confidence that it's the last man back. Like, it's something totally egregious, denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity. So this one, ball bounces to United. And then in the 74th minute, Rashford taking this man on, getting the penalty, Bruno slotting from the spot.
Penalty all day. Let's see Bruno with the game winner. Let's go.
Scores! So when you're going up against a goalkeeper that's in top form, Fernandes has got to keep his composure. The slow start, that step, before he strikes the ball.
I thought Bruno was terrific today. Great penalty earned by Rashford. Just play him on the left. First game we've seen this season with him playing on the left instead of number 9. The reason he's playing at number 9 is because Martial is so woeful. I mean, that was just sad, those first 60 minutes. But Rashford on the left was just a breath of fresh air, as was Bruno's performance, I think, throughout this game. And also just the midfield. The midfield that was so good, like you said last year, that arguably was the best midfield in the league. Back together, Mount injured, next man up, that's Christian Eriksen. And I thought those three together looked really good. And you know what? Important goal for Bruno and a big game from him. And 3-2, Manchester United.
Look, people making a meal out of this penalty too. I think Martin Keown was like upset about it. This one is a penalty.
All
I mean,
day,
like,
bro.
like
All
the
day.
guy. So as far as I would say, it's like the lunge was there. It put Rashford off. Does Rashford like simulate a little bit here? Yes, clearly. But like it was the rash lunge that like put him off. Now, like if I'm calling it. Like I'm calling it like 1987 football, not a pen. Like like
that would be a card of this whole game, bro.
Like this is it, and then so the ref calls it. VAR is not going to overturn it. And I think the thing that we have to realize as fans is like everyone's going to freak out about every call with Manchester United and just let them. And like this whole idea on social media where you clip one call and clip another, people are just out of control. It's whatever the ref calls in the field. Is it clear and obvious? And you watch this, it's not clear and obvious error. It's like it's a pen. It's a red, that's how it's going to go. And we'll get in the news, like Mike Dean talking about the psychology of referees and VAR. I thought was really interesting, but look, we win. McSauce came on for Anthony, clap up the Brazilian, you had a good day out at Old Trafford.
This guy.
It's a win. It's 3 points. Like, let's bank it and move on. But like, this is just straight Ole ball. Like, can't start a game, sloppy, organized, not switched on, heavy emotional comeback. You're not winning leagues with this. You're not winning leagues with this type of football. Like, Wolves get the better of you at home. You barely squeak by on like a header from Varane. Like, this type of football is not what United should be playing right now, given we've had a year with Eric Ten Hag, hell of a preseason. We should be playing better. There should be patterns of play. This is very much just throw everything in the kitchen sink at it right now, which is why we need to get to Arsenal. They drew Fulham, so they're not like a powerhouse right now, but that's the real measuring stick for me. People want to be saying this is a great performance by United against the shit Forest side. It's like, wait till we play Arsenal. We play well against Arsenal. We start well. There's something there. I just need to see something because this has been a rough start.
It's been a very rough start. Very rough start. We probably had 15 minutes of good football against Wolves, maybe 40 minutes against Spurs, and maybe 80 minutes today. But like you said, we're not winning leagues. Guess what? We're not winning the league with this fucking setup and John Murtaugh and Richard Arnold sweating it in the executive director box. But either way, we got to figure shit out. And we got to figure shit out quick. This team has the pieces to at least strongly finish in the top 4. It's just that like nothing's going our way at the moment.
I don't know.
Week.
I don't know
Hold
if we
on
have the
second.
pieces.
This is a tough week.
I'm saying that's
without
a
a striker. I mean, without a striker, It's all about Hoyland. I mean, Hoyland's going to be huge because Martial's worthless.
Yes,
he really
exactly.
is.
But
I'm
you need
really
a backup
like,
striker. You can't play Hoyland.
no, it's
50
absurd,
games.
bro. He's 20. The kid's fucking 20, 21, whatever he is. He's like has like not a ton of minutes in top flight football, which is fine. We're buying upside. But he's never scored an EPL goal. Like fucking Martial scored 80 of them in 300 appearances. So there is nobody to score goals on this side because Martial will get injured. He can't play more than 60 minutes, and when he does, he's jogging around the whole time. He's fucking worthless. I couldn't believe how bad he was yesterday.
No, but your point is valid. It's like we have an incomplete team.
100%.
The number one point is our director of football, our ownership has not given us a complete roster to compete over the 50 so games throughout the entire season. And if you don't have a complete roster, you're already starting on your back foot.
Right.
And then if a bunch of people get injured, you're even more on the back foot, which is like where we are
Exactly.
at. And then if you have this crazy commercial preseason, that's just like the most insane thing you've ever seen, that's going to put us on the back foot even more. So that's why I'm saying we just got to get to the international break, take a breath, get healthy, sort this out. I believe Erik ten Hag can sort it out. It's just we need some time. This has been like a little – I don't know why they thought our director of football thought this was enough. I have no idea why our ownership felt like we needed that preseason. It's all a shit show at United. A lot of it is obviously above Erik ten Hag's head, but this hasn't been a good 3 games, and we gotta really turn it. But what's amazing is we have points. We've been playing like
6
shit
points.
winning.
We have 6 points.
This is shit football with points. We'll take it, but we gotta start seeing like we were playing well last season, and we gotta get back to that. Like with this midfield, Rashford on fire on the left wing. Like we saw a little bit of it against Forest. We need to get back to that, right? And I feel like we're all disconjoined on the defensive side. These injuries are weighing us down. So let's just get the international break. Looking at the stats, we did have them on XG, 2.98 to 1.3 for Nottingham Forest. Shots, 18-9 for United. 9 shots on target for United, 4 to Forest. We had 67% of the ball, dominated them on the stat sheet. But like I said, I think a lot of that changed after the first 5. Nottingham Forest went 2 up in just 3 minutes and 47 seconds into this match. That's the earliest into a Premier League match that Manchester United have ever gone 2 goals behind. Again, don't like setting records like that, but that's where we're at. And Manchester United have won 13 Premier League games when 2 or more goals behind, more than any other side in Premier League history. That is United. Never give up, never back down. And Manchester United became the first side in the Premier League history to go 2 goals ahead inside 4 minutes in a game and then go on to lose. That is an amazing stat. They packed it in a little too hard. Sir, I don't look at the table till Christmas. You want to give the update? I'll cover my ears.
It doesn't matter. I mean, City's already running away with it. They're in first. We're in 8th. That's it, dude. Like City, no one's catching City. It's not even close, bro. They're having to think about it. They fucking won the treble, and they're having a much better window than we are. They're selling players. They're still buying players never even heard of that will be fucking world beaters. Like the winger they just bought will score more goals than Anthony, and he cost half as much. So that matters. So anyway, we're in 8th. We're right in it. We gotta figure shit out because, like you said, we've been getting away with it. We could be way worse. We could be at a 1 point right now. Based on the way we played in these first 3 matches, we could be at 1 point. We could have got a draw against fucking Forest or a loss against Wolves, lost against Spurs. So the fact that we're actually at 6 points and in it is a good sign. But like you said,
huge.
We will not get
huge.
any points against Arsenal away unless we play well. That's the thing. It's there's nowhere to hide, bro. You go play Arsenal. If we don't play well, we ain't winning shit. We ain't getting a point. We ain't getting 3 points. So there's nowhere to hide. It's going to be a marquee game of the weekend. They're a tough team. They're not off to a flyer like they were last season, but they're a very good team. They've actually strengthened versus last year. So no excuses to play like a champion, right?
Let's see what the manager had to say.
Here we go, Erik ten Hag.
We want to give the fans something. But of course, it's a horror start. Giving them 2 goals and, of course, making mistakes. But I'm very pleased with the comeback, with the leadership, how we stay calm and composed and stick to the plan, stick to the belief and turn it around. And I think we played, in the meantime, very good football. Out of the plan and out of our principles and rules, and we scored good goals.
So do you view the game more positive? Obviously, you could come back win, absolutely, but do you view it more positively than negatively given the start you had?
I think every team in the start have areas where they have to improve, and definitely, we have also some, and we have to progress there if you want to be successful. But also, you see this team has big character, big personality. There is a very good spirit in this team. There is energy, and they found a way to win. So for today, a big compliment for the team.
Yesterday you spoke about Bruno Fernandes and why he's captain. Is his performance today an example of that? Because he was still trying to create, he was driving the team forward, and obviously took the penalty.
Absolutely, I think.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's a cagey bastard, our bald fraud. Hey, listen, horror start. He said it, but the team showed some resiliency. Got to figure these things out. But they did show some fight. But either way, we're not going to be able to get away with it against Arsenal. You're not going to be able to go 2 goals down and fight back for a victory. I don't think so. All right, we got 6 points. We won 2, lost 1. Things got a lot worse. Best team we've played to date, and we're playing away, and we've been shit away. And we were shit at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and if we're shit against Emirates at the Emirates Stadium, or excuse me, against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, we're going to be in trouble. So we got to show up, and let's regularly rock, bro. No excuses.
No, I like. Let's get into it. Arsenal versus Manchester United, Emirates, Sunday, September 3rd, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Lifetime versus the Gunners. Won 101 games, drawn 50, lost 87. First time we ever played them. Newton Heath versus Woolwich. Arsenal, 3-3 in the second division. We tied last 5 straight down the middle. 2 wins to United, 2 losses, and 1 draw. How are we going to show? I mean, like, the heartbreaker for us was we beat them 3-1 at home. Anthony debut, if you remember, the roar into the camera. We thought we would see that a lot more last season. Unfortunately, we did not. And then we lost 3-2 at the Emirates after an amazing goal from Marcus Rashford playing lights out. This is when Casemiro had the double yellow, got the red card, suspension. He did not feature, but Casemiro will be featuring this year. Could that be the difference? They did draw Fulham most recently 2-2, and Fulham had a red card. They squeaked Crystal Palace 1-0. They beat Nottingham Forest 2-1. They did win the Community Shield. Knowing Arsenal, they are still probably riding high in the Community Shield vibe.
Yeah, that's it.
Their season has, I mean, it's not like, comparing them to United, we got a little too high on the EFL Cup vibes last season too. So, 2 former titans of English football that, Arsenal bottled the title. They're stumbling out of the gates here a little bit. They're going to be smelling blood in the water. Arteta's going to be going mad on the touchline. We're going into their house. We've been struggling probably more than they have. But this is going to be a fight for everything. Really interesting how the manager is going to view this one, because I would, Sir Alex Ferguson, you didn't always have to agree with how he approached the game, but he would be thinking, and this is a man who won lots of titles, he'd be thinking, I got to get to international break. It's a way, play for the draw, play negative. Don't give Arsenal a lot. You got to be cheeky here. Ten Hag doesn't do that.
He needs to start doing that.
He always blows it open.
He needs to start doing that.
And I'm obviously concerned because we were exposed by Wolves. We were exposed by Tottenham. And Basuma just destroyed us. Nottingham Forest, they got us. And, Arsenal should be better than all those teams. But EPL math is not always straightforward.
No, and you know what? I hope our manager learns a little bit, because Fergie knew that. He didn't always do that, right? Because the 2009 final, he should have done that. We probably had a chance to win it. Otherwise, we got blown out effectively against Barcelona that time in Rome. But our manager needs to realize that EPL ain't no joke, and this is not the Dutch league. And it's like every fucking team can take your lunch. A Forest, obviously an Arsenal can. And this is the kind of game where early in the season where we're not playing well and they're not playing well. Trust me, both managers are going to know the impact of winning this game. it could change everything in the near term, right? For the next month, you can get some momentum, especially headed into the international break. Have good moods, good vibes. If we go there and lay a fucking egg, lay a stinker down in London, it's going to be really sour the mood. Which, in addition, like we talked about all the headwinds that the manager's facing. We didn't even talk about like the fucking We're going to talk about the news, but like it doesn't make it any easier to be the manager of this club. And you have like this fucking Greenwood debacle. We're going to take him back. We're not going to take him back. Transfers. No one wants to leave. We can't get new players in. And I'm not making excuses because at the end of the day, he's got to get his boys up for a game, and they got to show up. But it ain't easy being the manager of Manchester United ever, especially under these fucking numpties and the Glazers and the Payet brothers. But
they did buy a Mason Mount for £60 million. So you know what I'm saying? Like there is that, and we did buy a guy with a broken back for $70 million. So it's like that's a Harry Kane. You know, you and me we watched the game a long time. Like that's probably the player that we would have liked to go all in.
They can't sell anybody, bro. You know, they can't.
No,
sell
I
nobody.
agree. But there is there is a little bit of like the 80 million for Ant. Like I do agree with you. But it doesn't mean like we can't play good football with what we got at the end of the day.
And I'm not saying that's the case. So I think we can.
That's the test. The test is literally like I need my manager and my players, like Bruno, the leader of the team, to be able to have a game plan, implement that said game plan, and start the game from minute one like we want to win. Like that's all I really that you don't need a lot. And if we try really hard, and
you don't need to win.
Match,
you just got to try hard.
Like you know what I'm saying, you have to have a plan. You got to execute that plan. You got to show up off the bus. Like it's literally we need to get back to basics, and I think that's part of it. Like the running that Ten Hag made him do last season, I feel like he's got it. And we just got to get to international break, like no joke. Without like if Arsenal beat us 6-something,
get out of here.
Or no, but I'm saying
6-something.
But I'm saying like imagine it. You know that this team has done that where we've gotten away with it, and then just got curb stomped by some bigger teams. And it's like that happened under Ole. It happened under Rangnick. It even happened under Erik ten Hag last season. So it's like we got to get rid of that. And it's like this. Like I could see this being our Liverpool game last year. Like we show up big time, we play well, we win, or it's a draw, and we look the better team. Like this could be that statement that fixes our early start woes here. And that's what I don't want to see that classic come out of the gates, like concede on the corner. Like don't need that,
fourth minute, like fucking
the games
Gabrielle
keep
header.
Getting bigger. Like the games keep getting bigger every time. We're putting it off. When are we going to show up? When are we going to have that performance? And so, big game. A little history about Arsenal. They were the first club south of England to join the Football League in 1893. They reached the first division in 1904. And they were founded by the munitions workers at the Royal Arsenal in Woolwich. They were originally named Woolwich Arsenal. And in 1913, the club crossed the city to the Arsenal Stadium in Highbury, becoming neighbors of Tottenham Hotspur and creating the North London Derby, which is still contested to this day. And Herbert Chapman changed the fortunes of Arsenal forever. He won the club its first piece of silverware and led the club to dominate in the 1930s. And obviously, everyone remembers the Wenger era. Look, the Emirates, they have the new stadium. It's, they're soft. Arteta's soft. The players are soft. That's all we need to know. Exactly.
Fans are kind of twats. Like we went to that game, in the fancy section. Nice stadium, new, but like they're like the rich London club. They've known as that for a long time. They have finally figured out the front office. They're owned by the Cronkies, out of the great United States of America. But they finally figured out that like, you know what, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So let's like hire smart people that do. And they're showing an improvement. They're spending big money. Sir, go through that 11. Like they've spent a ton of cash, especially on that midfield. And it's going to be a big test for Manchester United because they haven't played great. But like you said, both managers know this is a great opportunity to force a catalyst early in the season to be like, fuck, man, we can play football. It was the Liverpool game for us last year. That changed everything. We need another one of those. Like 2-1, just like tough match, tough fought win. I would say the same with us beating them at home. Like that gave us a lot of confidence in the fall. But either way.
Totally. Getting to 11, Ramsdale, keeper. They put Partey at right back, White, Saliba, and Kiwior. I'm not familiar with him, But the midfield, Odegaard, Declan Rice, obviously another player that we wanted at United. And then Kai Havertz, Mason Mount's kind of cousin in the reject category, the overpay for a flop category. Let's see how that goes. Pretending like you're smarter than everybody else. Didn't make Chelsea seemed to like sell all their flop players for like great money. I don't know how that's possible. Like Kai Havertz and Mason Mount are playing to date about what everyone thought they were. And we paid out the odds. Both Arsenal and us paid out the odds to get them. So we'll see how that goes.
It's been 3 games, to be fair. It's been 10% of the EPL, less than 10% of the EPL season.
No, but you know what I mean. Like Kai Havertz and Mason Mount are not doing anything they haven't done, which led to them getting sold.
No, Eriksen looked miles ahead.
The valuations for them were very high, is what I'm saying. So Kai Havertz had a rough game. Mount has yet to find his best form. But Saka is legit on the right. Trossard played striker. They don't have a number 9 like us. They have Jesus, which, again, is a bad strategy. And then Martinelli on the left. So strong attack, strong midfield, kind of makeshift back line there. We can get at that. Rashford, they're going to put Ben White out there on Marcus Rashford, but he can get at him. So that's probably our best lane of attack. Obviously, Bruno getting it in behind to Rashford. As far as who could start, let's get into the injuries. Kobe Mainu, he's out long-term, end of October. Same with Luke Shaw. That could be even longer than that. Mason Mount, he has a thigh injury. He's going to be out a couple of weeks. Malacia, mid-September. You're talking all these are post-international break. And then Højlund, don't even think about it. Don't play him till after international break. That's probably what they're going to do. But again, he's got a broken back. We bought the striker we needed to start day one with a broken back. Hashtag Glazers out. Ahmad, no return date. That's very concerning. Tom Heaton. And then we gave you the Varane update, which is he probably will not feature at Arsenal, and we'll just let him rest over international break. Injuries piling up for United. You don't like to see that. Ahmad can make a difference. Mainu can make a difference. Shaw, Malacia,
Mount,
Højlund, dying.
Varane, all these guys. Højlund, kidding me?
Like, this is a real problem for United. And again, we hired the Arsenal physio. Having a laugh. What's your starting 11, given the bodies flying around here?
Not a lot of options, but in many ways it picks itself. Onana in goal. AWB, Varane, Martinez, Delo. I thought Delo played all right at left back, and I think Alvarez is it's too much to ask him to go play against Arsenal away. Doing the same midfield, but I think I would like us to play a little less aggressive. Koss, Eriksen, Bruno, Rashford on the left, Sancho up front, Anthony on the right. So who you got?
I got the same exact 11, but I'm putting Lindelof in there because I think they're just going to punt Varane on the other side of international break.
No, that's probably right.
But again, Anthony, he played well against Nottingham Forest. He's going to start again. I think you got to put Sancho at 9, and you got to have Rashford on the wing. Think of how Rashford won the penalty, created the goal for Eriksen, putting your best player in his best position. That's the most important thing is, never play Rashford at 9. We have to be keeping him on the left wing, getting him the ball in the dangerous areas, and he's got to create for Jadon Sancho, create for Eriksen, etc. So that's a tough 11. It's not. It's amazing that we're already on game 4 and we're these injuries are killing us. Imagine if you could have an Ahmad.
Or another striker.
You could have
that's why it's not
Rashford,
a big deal.
Ahmad, I want to see that. And with that variability in attack, we're going to see such a different United than we're seeing now.
You will, because yesterday, how much do we need a number 9, even a young number 9? And the buying the player, the broken back, I agree. We should have shaved off the price tag, but the whole point is you shouldn't be going all in on a 21-year-old as the guy who's going to save your day and score goals. Martial.
Yeah, what about a loan?
I'm telling you, where's the noise, dude? I can't, another left back, fuck that. How bad is Shaw's injury? It must be pretty bad if they're actually talking about loaning a player for left back, given that you can play to low. But then AWE has no backup, so you are thin. But we need a striker, and we need a striker yesterday. And Højlund, I'm pumped about the Dane, but Martial is he's carrying a bag of bricks around, bro. I couldn't believe it. The players were trying finally to get back into the game, and he was fucking yogging, bro. He was yogging. He wasn't tracking back. He was always just late. He wasn't making movement, and he's done, dude. His career's over.
Sir, you've been around the dark ales and meat pies. They go down pretty easy in England,
He's cursed, bro. Some of these players are just always injured. Phil Jones had that. he's just cursed. And and also like he doesn't look like he gives a shit too.
He
so
has
I
a
don't think that
role to
helps.
play, like again, like Mason Mount. Let's just like
Well, he just bought
like,
Mason
Mel,
Mount. He's
just,
24.
like-
I mean, Mason Mount. I think
like,
you said he's you're
Martial
trying to
has a
outsmart
good-
everybody. There are a lot of
so-
players that wanted. There were a lot of teams that wanted to sign Mason Mount. Liverpool wanted to sign Mason Mount. Other teams did want to sign Mason Mount. So like,
So listen, I'm number one Mason Mount
Number
fan for the record.
Yeah, you're the number
there's
7
not a
holder, by
bigger
the way.
fan- there's not another bigger Mason Mount fan than me for the record.
Facts.
By the way, I'm trying to say you can't judge Mason Mount in
It's
3
true.
games. And Martial had a good efficiency for Manchester United last season. He just wasn't healthy. Just like Casemiro, you got to let him get to fitness. He has a role to play.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately, like we just don't have anyone, so you can't like kill him on one game. If you look at him out throughout his entire United career, he scores goals for United. He has good hold-up play. Probably not fit. This is early season. Like you really can't even talk about like how we're doing until the 6th game as far as fitness and
he
injuries.
did miss the whole
et cetera.
preseason. To be fair, this is his first
Yep.
start. Good point. So defending Martial, good guy. Good
Let's
guy over
let's
there.
get into the odds here.
Let's.
Don't like them, but I will.
Dalla, what you got, sir? The odds. Arsenal, heavy favorites, -130. You got the draw at +290, and you got United away +330. I think these will tighten a little bit, but 3 times your money, sir, for a draw or a win. You go first. Score prediction. This guy's feeling bullish. You can tell. 6-1
I'll tell you,
Arsenal.
I'll tell you, when anyone knows anything about markets, it's like you're buying Manchester United at like an all-time low, right? You're buying like horrible 3 games, don't look good, going away form's bad, right? The bookies have it just way down here at +330, plus the draw, If you have to hold your nose and take this, right? Because you're taking Manchester United versus Arsenal. It should be a coin flip. It should be a tough game. And you're getting 3 times your money. That being said, I got no confidence in this team. But the odds,
I know.
the bookies' odds give me confidence because everyone's selling United so hard
Exactly.
that either we have more to fall or this is the bottom. So I'm going to say it's either a draw or it's like 5-1. It's like either we fight hard and we probably should win, but we draw because we lack that quality, or it's they just curb stomp us and it's that 5-1 to 6-1. I'm going draw. I'm going to say 1-1. I think we completely reverse course. I think the comeback win, the good vibes, I think we fight really hard, probably outplay them, and they get a solid goal, maybe in the 70th minute, 1-1. So bet the draw.
Yeah, I tend to agree with your prediction. Like, yeah, I'd love for us to go down and win, but I could see us showing up and playing well and then still dropping points because, like, they get a late goal or we check off, we check off at the end of the game or we get a bad call, but whatever. Not super confident, but Manchester United, we always got a chance. And fucking Christ, it's still like Arteta, bro. I mean, that guy's a numpty with those eyebrows. So we got a chance. It's Manchester United. We always got a chance. Where is the news? Let me find us some news.
What's your score prediction?
What is your score prediction? Sir, you go first.
I said 1-1.
2-2. I think it's a draw. I think we could definitely lose. But I think United gets a draw, and you know what? We'll lick our wounds. 7 points from the first 4 games, not great, but considering how poorly we played, it could be worse. Ready for some news?
Let's go. United in the news.
You got any good name? You got any good news for me? You got Osimhen? Did we sign Osimhen? Victor Osimhen, is he joining?
No, unfortunately, the Glazers have not sold the club. The update on the sale, Sky Cave basically
your
came
boy,
out,
John's
and,
boy.
he confirmed what we had said on the pod for a long time, which is basically the valuation has not been met. And he's not aware of anyone coming up with the ask. So the Glazer ask, I think, is in the round of $6 billion. He talked about how the Qatar bid was in the $5 billion range, and so clearly, you're hearing rumors from Neil Custis that Qatar is going to fix it in October. Look, the Glazers won a certain amount of money. You and me, if we had enough Patreon supporters, could pay that amount of money. Qatar could pay the right price. Ratcliffe can pay the right price, and nobody has decided decided the price is right. So we are in the impasse of the sale because nobody's paid what the Glazers want, and the club shall not sell until that happens. And Qatar can pay that price, right? Qatar could say, "Hey, we want to pay $6 billion," and then the club will be sold. So, as far as this update of what's going on, I think we read the tea leaves. We said that was the deal, and that's why there's no announcement on the club side, because the price can still be met. And if you're thinking about it, sign up for our Patreon page. We just need 6 billion
more
out of the 8 billion people on the planet to sign up, and we can buy Manchester United. What do you say?
Well, you can do a custom amount. So if we have some really generous Patreon members, but that's
no,
it,
but
sir.
6 billion people do $1.
I know.
You know,
yeah.
get
Bare
$6 billion.
minimum. Yeah, I take that. That's a year, bro. That's ARR.
Actually, you need less than that
because
because
it's recurring.
we could do debt. So, but I don't want to get into that.
We don't want to talk about the debt.
But so I think so. Again, sale TBD. But next one, the Greenwood fumble and all this crap. And
Unbelievable.
So Greenwood's. So like two things came out I thought were really interesting. Like number one, he's not playing for the club, which I think is the right decision. Right, like the clubhouse just protect the brand at all costs. You can't trust this guy, given what has gone on and even everything, the circumstances around the case. Woodward kind of wrote like this, or not Woodward. Arnold wrote was a club statement, very kind of like,
couldn't even read that shit.
We know more here than you, and like it makes no sense. Defending himself from 180ing when he clearly 180'd on this because of the public pressure, and then kind of says, well, we know things we can't say, and then literally it's just like grievance letter when it should literally be like, man,
that was unbelievable. That letter, I've never seen anything like that, bro.
He's got thin skin. That's not good for a CEO. He's not a leader. He's horrible. He's worse than like Woodward. I think he's just dumber than Woodward.
He's definitely dumber.
And that's just really where we're at. But again, the right decision was made in the end. They pissed off the Athletic as well. I thought like the great tweet that summed it up from at Adam Crafton _. He's been really the one who broke the article.
He was all over
coming back.
Unbelievable.
And
coverage.
then he reached out for comment. That's when United came out with their own statement to beat him to the punch. He said one of the ultimate limitations in Manchester United's plan was how they appeared to propose to essentially argue, we know more than you, but we can't fully explain why, and presume a public who inherently distrusts the club's ownership would go along with that.
Well said.
So the whole giving him a pass was basically like trust us type of thing. The fact he was going to come right back into the team is per our comments on the last podcast, insane. And then I heard that we were going to get money for selling him. I was like, aren't you terminating his contract? We're not selling him. We're not getting any money. Like this whole thing is just, it shows you why we don't have a striker. It shows you why we can't sell Maguire. It shows you why we didn't get Holland for £3 million. It shows you why we don't have Jude Bellingham. It shows you why our club is in shambles and we spent more on a net basis than Manchester City, and we got nothing. And we are drowning. And we're drowning in this horrible ownership with this incompetent leadership. And you put that on top of a good manager with some decent players, and it's hard to overcome. And that's where we're at. And credit to all the fans who did the sit-in. I thought that was a great protest. But this is gonna take more. It's gonna take more aggressive tactics from fans. We have to start shutting down games. The Glazers say they're gonna stay. I mean, it's really gonna get to that level, because they ain't going to go nowhere, unfortunately.
No, we know who these people are. And you know what? What do you expect from greedy bastards? It's like they're going to squeeze every penny out of this club because they have for the last 20 years. So what would change? This week, really, there's never been a greater example between all the things you just listed of how poorly this club is run. And just okay, against the EPL compatriots, yeah, we talk about all the time. We're in the bottom 10%. Maybe us and Everton and the teams that yo-yo up and down from the championship and back. But really, if you consider how big of a club this is, and this is the biggest club in the world, and without a doubt the biggest club in England, maybe Barca, maybe Real, and just slightly because they have a LATAM connection. But I think
no, it's number one. It's
it
number
is.
one.
It really is. It's number one in the Western world without a shadow of a doubt. And what proves is just like this club is a fucking disaster class because usually it's all about Erik ten Hag and the players. And other than 2 months of the year, okay, it's 3 months if you include January, it's all about what's happening on the pitch. And to a certain extent, it still is. And that's a mess right now as well. But like, we can't buy players because we can't sell players, right? We can't sell Maguire. You can't even sell Brandon Williams, even though like teams would buy him. You know, he's young, he's English, he's got talent, he's got upside. We can't sell him. Can't sell Donny van de Beek. What a fucking bust that was. Obviously, nobody wants Tony Martial. And because of that, we can't buy. And then when you do buy, you overpay, right? So it's like, it's fine to overpay for Casemiro, but overpaying for Anthony fucks you because you put huge expectations on the guy's shoulder. And then if he never lives up to it, then, you know.
No, you just stop doing it because it's bad business.
No, you're wasting. You can buy 3 players. What I'm just saying is that, like.
But you have to learn, like. You have to
the club is so poorly
stepping
run.
on a rake. We've been stepping on the same rake for the last decade, and it's like you can't keep buying Lukaku, Pogba, Anthony, like these big money people. It's like
Sancho.
You have to. It's Moneyball. You have to find value in a competitive market. That's the only way you're going to win. Is like you need to find value in a competitive market. You look at Brighton, you'd be like, that is how you win.
Do
you
what
need to
they
find
do.
Matoma, you need to find
Brighton.
Caicedo. You need to take options on players that are younger, that have prospects. You need to have those prospects filling in deep positions behind your first team roster so that you always have a body in case you have injury crisis. There's never a situation where you don't have a number 9. You got young ones coming up in the game that are filling in behind the Martial contract that's going away. Right now we have a giant gulf, right? You have Martial on one end who's aging out, and you have Højlund right too early. You need somebody. The porridge has to be just right always. It's always got to be just right, and our porridge is fucked.
Our porridge is fucked, and my point I was trying to make was that it's less obvious when the season's just going on and the transfer windows are closed, and there's no fucking Greenwood nonsense, and the club isn't up for sale. But now all those things are coming to a head at once, and it's like, this club is a fucking disaster, bro. Like, we are fucked as long as the Glazers own this club and hire a bunch of sweaty fucking morons to run the club. And effectively, they're running the club. So all I'm getting at is, like, usually you don't notice so much, and everyone just blames the manager, and that's what happens. They fire the manager. They don't fire the GM, right? Like other sports. They fire the manager, and then on to another manager. Right now, this is a perfect culmination of, like, how fucked Manchester United are under the Glazer ownership, because they haven't learned, bro. Like, they could spend less money and do better if they just hired smart people, and for some reason they don't want to do that. So, like, at the end of the day, we're going to live and die by this ownership, and until that changes, nothing will change.
No, exactly, because the idea that, like, you know, we went and paid out the odds for this young Danish kid, short of him, like, becoming, like, a world soccer star, is, like, not going to justify the valuation, and you're already over your skis. So you should pay, like, a good price for a young prospect. You can't pay over the odds for somebody to, you know what I'm saying? Like, paying over the odds for Anthony is unproven in the Dutch league, and doing that over and over again.
And he doesn't have to be Holland. Like, even if he scores 15 goals in the EPL season, like, that would be worth 60, 70 million. It would be, because look at
it would be, but that's a high bar.
No, it is.
That's a high bar. That's a lot of goals. But like, is that 15 goals in 3 seasons from now, or is that 15 goals this season? And that's really the question. And the whole point is that it comes down to, like, if you had a great striker now and you paid a lot of money for a prospect coming through, you could give him the time
100%.
to come into the team. But the fact that it's literally going to be, he has injury and you're going to be rushing him back because you got nobody, it's just setting him up for failure. And I feel like United has ruined, like, think of all the players we've ruined too. Sancho coming over, just like every big money player that we're buying, it's like they come here and don't perform well, you know? And that's also an issue, is that if you're going to be buying these Ferraris, you can't be sending them to, like, Joe Blow, the mechanic down the street who works on, like, the Hondas. You know, I feel like we kind of have that internally where, like, we're not able to take and digest elite talent and have it perform, right? And so maybe we should be buying younger players or looking to the academy, right?
I agree. We should buy cheaper players. You know, I know there's not a lot of value in the market anyway, but, like, go for the next Moise Caicedo. Go for the next Enzo Fernandez. Go for the next fucking Mbappe. And, like, you know what? They're not all going to flush out. But even when we buy $70 million, $80 million players, they don't always flush out. Like, Sancho's never... I hate to say it, bro, but he ain't never going to live up to his price tag. He ain't never going to be worth 75 million pounds when 75 million pounds is a lot more than it was
Pogba
now.
didn't live up to his
Pogba
price
was
tag,
awful
and
too, bro.
Lukaku
He
didn't
was
live up to
never
his
fit,
price
and he always
tag,
wanted to
you know?
leave. And he was a fucking mistake. If there were competent owners and competent front office, they would be like, should we bring back this kid that left for free and like kind
But
of
then Sanchez.
Exactly.
It's been a
They care about marketability. They brought
Di
Pogba
Maria.
back because he's in fucking
Di
Pepsi
Maria,
commercials, bro.
Falcao.
Exactly, dude.
You're like, go
All
down
day.
the list, like,
Schweinsteiger, the guy played like
nightmare.
4 games. Like they're
Wout Weghorst.
Wow, Weghorst. At least he doesn't play on our team. That fucking oaf.
No, but the number 9 situation like hasn't been solved since like clubfoot Lukaku. I mean, like that's just
Zlatan.
like something where
when Zlatan was in and he was scoring goals before he got injured. Like, that was the
what
last
a
time we had like
feeling
a
that
killer
was.
number 9. The last time we had
I
a
know.
killer number 9 was Zlatan, and that was for like 1 season. And he blew out his knee, and that was that.
But for like, it's just like looking at Arsenal trying to win the league without a striker. It's like you're not going to.
They're not gonna
It's
win.
Like the same
They're gonna
thing.
beat City.
So, but like imbalance in the roster, poor leadership. We all know it. And seeing the Greenwood debacle and then fumble and try to like deny it was just.
Run through this
Everybody knows
deadwood,
what's
sir.
going
Run through
on.
the deadwood. It's like a long list of fucking deadwood. Just go
Well,
through.
this one, Dean Henderson going to Crystal Palace. That's an agreement. 20 million. Of course, how much up front, etc.
It's 15 plus 5 allegedly. Should be 30,
we're-
right? Like a real club would get 30. We get 20. That's about right.
This is a fine deal because we're going to get the Bayindir to United from Turkey, which I think is ultimately the goal here. Is we need the competent backup. What happens if something happens to Onana at this rate, the injuries, etc. So like getting him out and getting a new keeper in, I like this. This is good business for United. And like you said, the Fenerbahce keeper coming in, which I think is great. As far as Magoo, I always said that this would come down to the deadline. This is going to be a deadline deal, brinksmanship. You're not going to play. How much are you going to take? You need the pressure to kind of rise here to get West Ham to make a move, right? Because West Ham can take some of the fee, etc. So that's really what's going to take.
The soundboard was made for that.
The fire rises.
Yeah, exactly. End of the window, bro. It's like shit happens because players get injured. It's like you're right. It's like he was never going to sell Magoo until like the last 2 days.
No, this is always going to be a deadline deal. The problem is it's not going to give us time to get somebody in. But
Pavard's gone.
I
right?
believe
The guy
Johnny
you want.
Evans is. Hey, look, the American Red Devils. We met Johnny Evans in the UAE.
That's right.
Working out at the Ritz in the locker room.
Great guy. Super nice.
I told him come back to United.
Here he is.
Told him about the pod. So this is all orchestrated by us, director of football.
That's
I told
unbelievable.
Johnny,
That's unbelievable that he's actually going to get a contract. And you know what?
nicest guy I've ever met.
He was
by the
really
way.
fucking
He was
nice.
like literally like he was such a nice guy. Like he seemed nervous talking to us. Like he was such a nice guy. Like he was just like
Academy, bro.
no, but he's just like
Class act. Welcome.
just like what like I this one to me is just like it's written in the stars. We saw him in Dubai, chatted up Johnny Evans, great guy. He's coming back. Let's go. This one has got good feels all around. Plus, he knows what it's like. We need a little link to the past. Link to the past. He won the title. He knows how to do it. He knows what it took. So I think this would be helpful. And then the absolute just like shit show that is United is this Cucurella.
You don't like it. You don't rate all Mark Cucurella he's from Brighton. We saw him play. We saw him play when they were in the championship. He was their best player that day, if you remember that correctly, when they played QPR, Ipswich Town.
He went to Chelsea. He flopped.
I know
time.
he did. I know he did.
Big time.
We're dying for bodies.
Our transfer flops are enough. Like we're dying.
Loan. It's a
We're
loan.
drowning in
It's
flops.
a loan.
We're drowning in,
It's a loan.
We're drowning in flops. We don't need to add more to the table. I mean, like how we should play that. You really want Cucurella? Like this is it.
I don't want Cucurella
on loan.
I don't. But he must have. There must be a player there. Like I haven't watched a lot of him recently, but like clearly, they bought him for a reason. Clearly, he was on Brighton for a reason. Clearly, like under the right system. And also, let's play 4D chess for a second. Say they sell Harry Maguire for a fire deal at the end of the window. All right, we can't get Pavard. He's going to Inter, and anyone else we can't get. So we're going to do Johnny Evans as a fourth. Okay, what do we do at left back? Well, we have an extra option because Shaw can play center back. He's probably our third best center back, but he's injured. So when he's back, Cucurella could be the backup to Malacia on the left if we need to push Shaw in. So like it could be a little bit of musical chairs.
supersedes Malacia.
No, I
It would
agree.
be Shaw,
Yeah, he'd be next.
Cucurella,
Yeah, he'd be
Malacia.
next.
So you actually hurt Malacia.
You do, but he's injured, and it sounds like it's a bad one.
So look, at this point, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Cucurella, sweet.
It's
Like,
fucking
yeah,
loan
yeah.
deal, bro. Gives a
Fucking
shit. We should be
Cucurella,
loading
yeah.
strikers.
You know what, sir? Yeah.
Fuck it. That's it.
Based on the way we're playing, yeah, fucking give us Cucurella.
Who else you got? Who else you got?
You got any other? You got any other guys you overpaid?
Lukaku. They got Lukaku.
Shit?
They got Lukaku. He's shit. He's going to fucking Roma.
You got any other guys you overpaid for that are shit? So we can add $1 overpaid shit players over here. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
What else we got? B-Dubs off to Ipswich Town. We can't even sell them on a loan. Like, fucking joke. Like, you got to be able to sell them. Yeah, B-Dubs.
B-Dubs should come in here. That one's. I feel like Brandon Williams. That one, I'm sad at. He played well, showed promise, like really good. Like he showed a lot of promise for United. Then we went on loan to Norwich, kind of loaned him into oblivion. I think he maybe had some issues off the field. And, coming back and never been able to break in, which is like, I feel like he should be the one that should be, playing left back for us, but it's unfortunate to see him go. Next bit of news, I thought this was a good window into the refereeing culture. Mike Dean went on the Upfront podcast with Simon Jordan. If you haven't listened to that one, it's, if you want someone saltier than me, Simon Jordan.
Oh, what a bastard. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like,
I dislike him so much. He's so unlikable.
But I dislike Mike Dean more.
That's true.
I like of all the people. Like I actually, you go to Howard Webb, Mark Clattenburg, great refs.
Oh yeah,
great refs, and like England always had the best refs. So it's like when you had Howard Webb, then Clattenburg, we were great. And then Mike Dean was kind of the leader of the fucking numpty era that we're in now, which
awful,
includes VAR and all these horrible refs.
Read the quote.
And these guys are all not good, and it's like includes Anthony Taylor, all these guys who just and actually they're bad against United always. And the quote is interesting because he talks about being a VAR referee, and he talks about the Cucurella incident at Chelsea, where that handshake between Conte and Tuchel was an all-time gif. But he says, quote, "I missed the stupid hair pull at Chelsea versus Tottenham, which was pathetic from my point of view. It's one of them where if I had my time again, what would I do? I would send Anthony to the screen. I didn't want to send him up there because he's my mate as well as a referee, and I didn't want any more grief than he already had." And so the reason why this is significant is because while fans, we think VAR is there to get the calls right. Referees interpret if I send the ref to the monitor, I'm acknowledging he made a mistake, and that's making the referee look bad, which is why they don't do it, which is insane that this is going through referee. Like, because you and me, we never sit in the referee chair. We never think like a referee. And you're like, I just thought VAR was there to make sure they didn't miss any call. Like, why would he be upset?
Right. I thought they're the arbiter of truth.
About it? And so he came out on this pod, and everyone's freaked out to this comment. Now he's trying to play it down like he didn't mean it this way. But clearly he felt bad about saying his friend made a mistake. And so VAR doesn't intervene because they don't want to say the ref made a mistake. But it's one guy on a pitch of 22 people. Like, clearly you're going to miss something. Like, why wouldn't you want to see it?
It's an old boys club, bro. We talk about this all the time. It's like we talk about how good of a league it is. We have the best league in the world, probably of any sport, and we have some of the worst referees. The referees are fucking terrible, and they're terrible because they're so inconsistent. And one of the reasons they're so inconsistent is like they rotate who's on VAR every week. So it's not even the same fucking guys doing VAR week in, week out, which it should be because then they'd be consistent week in, week out. They have a different guy, and then he goes up, and then they're all buddies, and it's all closed shop, right? They don't. Some of the leagues,
no, it makes no sense.
France does it now. Italy's starting to do it where they like to release what the VAR is telling them, what they're hearing on the pitch side, what they're saying to the players. And the problem is like, you get how it is, bro. These guys are like, they don't want anyone touching their bacon. They probably get paid pretty well. They got a lot of power, which goes to some of their heads, right? Mike Dean's a fucking ego. And they don't want to like open the kimono and say like, actually, we could do it better. And this, is unfortunate because this is the most valuable sports league in the world. Incredible. And the officiating is fucking awful. And it's gotten way worse. It has gotten objectively worse over the last decade. And it's gotten much worse.
Well, this is the point that he was like head of VAR, and he said he hated VAR, right? So the whole point is like actually as a referee, you're reffing on the field, like, say 15 matches, then you might do 8 as VAR. Now, the real problem is like they should have VAR refs, as well as they should give you the audio of the discussions
100%.
that they're making, right? And I think Mike Dean is going to do a lot for – I hated him as a referee. Now he's on Sky as a pundit. Now Howard Webb is the head of refs. I think that's actually great that Howard Webb is now like the new guy running kind of the whole referee camp and for the FA. So I think things are going to change, and I think there's going to be some transparency, and I think VAR is going to improve. I do like how they're making changes to the wasted time this season, but there needs to be more transparency on like why. Like it can't be like, oh, I didn't want my mate to have another mistake. Right?
Oh,
There has to be a reason why
That's
you
insane.
didn't look at this penalty that would have mattered. But I thought it was a very interesting take and one that we don't get often. But I'm sure he's going to say some stupid things. Some more stupid things while he's a Sky pundit. All right, jumping into fan questions here at Glazers Out FC. Love the handle. Quote, awful start. Good on the lads, though, for fighting back. However, that is a loss to a top 6 side if we go down early like that. Slated Anthony last week, but he had a good day today. If I were Eric Ten Hag, I'd be looking at Sancho, false 9. Martial didn't offer much. I think we agree with everything he said there because we both had Sancho starting against Arsenal.
Absolutely, sir. He's not the number 9 we want, but he'll beat Martial any day. Our fans usually get it right, sir. What else they got?
Is there something with Eric Ten Hag and Sancho that he doesn't like him, or he maybe doesn't start? Because that's my.
I mean, he's not that good at
Martial.
striker. To be fair, like he's not that good of a striker. So it's like it's not like he's like. Whereas Rashford is so good on the left that you have to play on the left, and Bruno is so good at 10 that you have to play him at 10. Like Sancho's like okay at number 9. He's not very good, but like. At least he fucking was running around when he came on as a sub. Like Martial was jogging around when we were trying to get back into the game, which, as it should be in Eric Ten Hag's book, is unacceptable. It's like if we're losing, you have to run, and he wasn't even running.
At Miller KDJ, quote, there would have been a mutiny if United went on to lose that game. Fortunately, a strong offensive showing saw us take all 3 points. Gives us momentum heading into the game against Arsenal, who look unsettled. I think that's a great point. I'm thinking of Arsenal last season. Let's hope we can get them while they're down. This is going to be a fight for a knife in the mud at the Emirates. At Titans United, quote, Anthony looked better today. Nice to see an attempt to play with his right foot. Almost had a goal as well. Maybe he's getting confidence. Maybe he could be the 80 million pound player we thought he could be. What do you say, sir?
We'll see. He's got a lot more work to do. It was definitely a better performance. Keep it up, man. Just keep it up. We need to see some goals, though.
Look, he said when he comes inside off the right wing, he's pretty technical. I thought that he looked really well passing the ball. It's just that kind of out wide, give us the width, take a man on like Marcus that we're looking for on the right-hand side. So, like, when we do have a lot of the ball against lower opposition teams, I agree it plays into his strengths.
He's also a little selfish at time. Like, he always goes for that left curler when he should sometimes pass it. Maybe go for a left curler the other side, like shoot on the fucking right instead of the left. They all know where you're going, bro. So like you got to mix it up.
Yeah, I feel like Marcus doesn't know when to make that far post run either. Like they're not on the same page.
No, they're not.
But that's a great point. At Mike United Mets, quote, holding my breath every time someone goes down and receives treatment. The squad is so thin right now. It's unbelievable. Hopefully Varane is all right after the halftime sub. Have to take advantage of Arsenal next week after they stumbled versus Fulham today. Hashtag glory, Man United. Totally agree, Mike. We got to take advantage of Arsenal stumbling, rumbling, and bumbling. I feel like this is the real measuring stick. And for better or for worse, it's international break after that. So if we lose, international break, heal up. If we win, international break. I feel like we all need a break. Regardless, that is it. That is the podcast. Thank you for everyone who listens to the America Red Devils, enjoys the Muppet Take. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils, our website, americareddevils.com, and americareddevils.store for all merch. You can like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff online. We're completely fan-supported. There is no commercial backing. We have no sponsors or anything on the pod. We love doing it the original OG way, sir. You got our top 10 downloads last 7 days?
You know it. Number 1, how you doing? How you doing? Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Brooklyn, New York, New York, Dublin, Ireland, Atlanta, Georgia, Toronto, Canada, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, and last but not least, Portland, Oregon. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do it without you. Bring on Arsenal next weekend. We can't wait for it. Transfer window is going to also be closed by the time we speak with you next.
Woo!
A lot going on. Sweating in the pod room. You look very cool and comfortable, sir. You still got that hoodie on. It can't be that hot where you are, but appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Like we said, we couldn't do it without you, and on to better times, sir.
What song we got?
We'll do what we want. We're Manchester United. Enjoy the week. We'll talk to you all soon.